Well, every once in a while it happens. One breaks, a collectible or a dish or two. And in our case, this is the DIY lily pad wall installation that we made 4 years ago. Hey guys, this is Louie. It's been a while. I've been away about 10 days. Apparently I got another job that I got to tend to, but today I wanted to show you how I fix our DIY lily pad dish that we turned into an installation. It's been about 4 years now since I made these individual plates by myself, and Kat and I installed them on our fernery right by our living room area. Many of you have asked how it's made. Many of you were interested in knowing what it's made out of, and today I plan on first fixing the broken plate, because one afternoon we found the plate just hanging out on the floor. It fell off apparently, and we needed to fix it. And before I go to that part of the video, I think it's worth mentioning that these are originally inspired by a set of plates that we saw when we were invited to a home tour and a private lunch with P. Allen Smith, the famous garden and landscape designer down in Arkansas. While participating during the home tour, our attention was taken by a set of big lily pad plates of different sizes arranged on top of the minibar by the dining room of the home. At the time, these plates were for trade-only folks and were not being sold widely yet on the market. And since these are exclusive items, they are quite expensive. And so I figured, since necessity is the mother of invention, I'll hand-make them myself, and handmade I did. There will be another vlog on how I handmade from scratch the plates that are right now hanging on our living room wall. There are 11 different size plates, and they are fairly easy to make. I will put them all out on the next vlog. But for today, I wanted to devote this vlog on how we can put together anything broken. Broken plates, broken teacups, broken mugs, porcelain, clay, anything of that sort, using basic materials that we can put together ourselves and would be time saving. Our handmade lily pads were made of moldable clay that you bake in the oven that you could get from the craft store. And when this fell off one night and found it in the morning, this material was surprisingly strong because it still held big pieces and it didn't shatter into small, tiny, minute pieces that I will have some trouble putting together in. Now, obviously, the first thing to do when putting together broken pieces is to assess carefully and observe where are those pieces that could be workable, that could still, after being put together with glue, will still leave some form of a minor seam between the broken sides. And that's what I'm doing here in this clip. I'm trying to look and see how they will fit. The lily pads are almost three-dimensional in shape, and so there are wavy parts to it. There are also some homemade creases and veining that I had to put within and right onto the clay itself. So carefully assessing that is the first step. Notice that below the plate I have a clean towel that I'm using almost like a mold or a holder, if you will, so that the irregular shape of the lily pad is kept. Later I'll show you another material that works well in molding the lily pad in shape. For this part of the project, right tool for the right job. Elmer's glue just wouldn't hold because it's very thin. It wouldn't hold the pieces together, and so I had to come up with a different type of glue that's more tacky, almost double the consistency of condensed milk, and that's what I found with Aileen's tacky glue. From this point on, the process is very straightforward. You run a bead of glue little by little and slowly hold the pieces together. You either use the cloth material, which is the towel underneath, to hold it in shape. What I'm doing also is I am feathering out and rubbing the bead of glue, the excess bead of glue that's right on top of the lily pad. It will take a couple of hours for this glue to dry, and when it does, it dries to a clear look. It will not be white, it will be clear, and any type of material underneath will come through. Now, these lily pads were painted, and that will be again shown on the other video as I've made another lily pad from scratch, and we'll see how that goes. To match placement of broken pieces so that gravity alone can keep proper alignment, Fill in a container, which is what I did over here, that is slightly larger than the piece you will be preparing and you will be fixing. You can either fill it with plastic pebbles, rice, or in this case, with this box, I filled it with sand. The box and sand will cradle and hold the repaired piece still and in place while it cures. Now, sometimes I use other pellets, and other times I would use what is readily available, which is this construction grade sand. Alright, now let's go to gluing them together and putting the pieces together. My method of choice for putting the glue on these pieces is to one layer at a time, one bead at a time, and you put the pieces together. If there's anything that's left as a gap, then we put another layer and another bead of glue. Because the glue is highly viscous, highly tacky, what it does when it dries up, it leaves a thick layer of liquid that turns into a clear material, like I said earlier. So layering them on and putting them on one bead at a time will allow for the pieces to be a lot stronger when they dry up, will allow for the pieces to mend together and blend together. As you guys can see on this clip, it's still pretty unfinished. There are crack points and break points that are still trying to dry. Some pieces, all because of the material of the clay, they're not quite as level and even as how it was. But we will sand them off and we will use different grade grit sandpaper to fix that problem. Some spots even have some sand stuck on it from the sand that I used to dry the plate on. But no matter, we'll be able to finish those off and fine tune them once we have all the major pieces together, stuck on, and we'll paint them over as the final finishing touch for this project. Another thing that I do to make sure that the glue doesn't seep through the crack is I use low-tack painter's tape. I tape the back part of this plate, and from then on it will act as a holder, a dam, or a reservoir. On the correct side of the plate, over glue, apply the glue on top so that when it dries up, it really dries like almost an epoxy material to bridge the gap, the bigger gaps that are unable to completely join because there are some fragments that have already broken off from when this plate came off the wall. If you have a piece of pottery, ceramic, or porcelain that is broken into more than a couple of pieces, plan the sequence in which you will attach each piece to avoid being left with a final piece that cannot be easily attached. And if you're like me, numbering the pieces after a dry run is important and will assist in actual implementation. Let each joint cure before repairing the next one. I hope I was able to give you an idea and made you a little smarter in putting together any broken pieces of pottery or ceramic or anything in your household. I'll keep on working, putting these pieces together. I'll keep gluing and allow them to dry. Like I mentioned earlier, this is part one of how I fix a broken homemade, handmade lily pad that's hanging on our wall. On the next vlog, I will show you how I actually make one using materials that you could easily get from the craft store. For now, thanks again for spending time with me. I'm glad to be back. Welcome to those who are new subscribers to the channel. My name is Louie. This is Acorn Hill. It's all about homesteading, all about building, making, and putting together good things. Very good for the soul during these times. And I hope to see you back soon. I hope you invite your family and friends to either like, share the video, hopefully learn a little bit something new in each video, and more importantly, subscribe to our channel. We enjoy putting these together for you, and we hope to see you back. In the meantime, stay safe. We'll see you back again on part 2 of this handmade, homemade lily pad wall installation on the next episode of Acorn Hill. Bye for now.